Imagine a modern city street where security cameras watch every corner, every storefront, and every alleyway. Now, picture a man walking into a dead-end courtyard. There is only one way in and only one way out. A camera is pointed directly at that single exit, recording every second of the night. You watch him walk in, but you never see him walk out. The space is completely enclosed with walls impossible to scale. There are no hidden doors and nowhere to hide. This is a real-life locked room mystery that defies logic, shattered a family, and exposed the terrifying gaps in our surveilled society. This is the inexplicable disappearance of Corrie McKeague. To comprehend how impossible this vanishing act truly is, you first have to understand the man at the center of the mystery. In September of 2016, 23-year-old Corrie McKeague was an active gunner in the Royal Air Force. He was stationed at RAF Honington in Suffolk, England. Corrie was energetic, highly social, and possessed a vibrant personality. He was incredibly close with his mother, loved his military career, and had just adopted a young puppy. He had no known enemies and zero financial distress. By every possible metric, Corrie was a man anchored to his life, with absolutely no intention of disappearing. On the evening of Friday, September 23rd, Corrie dressed for a standard night out with his fellow servicemen. He wore a distinctive bright pink button-up shirt, white trousers, and brown suede boots. This highly visible outfit would become crucial to tracking his movements. The group headed into Bury St Edmunds, a historic market town packed with pubs and heavily monitored by municipal security cameras. The night proceeded normally, with Corrie enjoying drinks and socializing. Eventually separated from his friends in the crowded town centre, he made his way to a nightclub called Flex, where footage captured him laughing and drinking until bouncers asked him to leave just after 1 o'clock in the morning due to heavy intoxication. Corrie left the nightclub amicably and walked alone through the quiet streets. At 1:15, cameras recorded him entering a local fast food shop to order a meal. Emerging back into the cool autumn air, he bypassed the taxi stands. Instead, he walked down a pedestrian thoroughfare called Brentgovell Street, found a recessed glass doorway of a closed electrical store, and sat down to eat. Minutes later, he lay back against the glass and fell fast asleep. High-definition city cameras monitored his position perfectly. Detectives knew exactly where he was, safely asleep and completely undisturbed, for the next 2 hours. The most critical moment in the timeline struck at exactly 3:24 a.m. Security feeds showed Corrie waking up, gathering his food wrappers and standing up. Though groggy, he appeared steady on his feet. He looked down the empty street and turned away from the main pedestrian route. He walked toward a nearby service courtyard known locally as the Horseshoe. It is a commercial dead end surrounded by towering, unscalable brick walls on 3 sides, designed purely for delivery vehicles and large waste bins. At precisely 3:25 a.m., the camera tracking the entrance captured Corrie stepping into the shadows of the Horseshoe. He was entirely alone. When Monday morning arrived and Corrie failed to report for his military duties, a massive search operation was immediately launched. Suffolk police initially treated it as a routine missing persons case, but as helicopters deployed thermal imaging over the dense local forests and tracker dogs scoured the town centre, panic set in. Detectives painstakingly reviewed the Horseshoe surveillance camera. The lens had remained perfectly fixed on the single exit throughout the entire weekend. It never stopped recording. They watched every person who entered and every person who left. Corrie never came out. He had seemingly evaporated within a confined concrete box. Desperate to find a crack in this geographic impossibility, investigators turned to the digital realm. Subpoenas for mobile phone records yielded a massive breakthrough. Corrie's cellular device remained pinging a mast in the town centre for nearly an hour after he entered the alley. Then suddenly, the phone began to move. Cell tower data mapped the device travelling rapidly northwest out of Bury St Edmunds, heading toward a rural town called Barton Mills. Almost 14 miles away from the dead end, the signal abruptly vanished from the grid entirely. The police finally had a timeline, but it birthed a terrifying new question. Detectives matched the exact trajectory and speed of the cell phone to the street cameras. They looked for any vehicle leaving the horseshoe alley at the precise moment the phone started moving. They found only one. A commercial refuse collection truck, operated by Biffa Waste Services, had pulled into the courtyard to empty the large industrial bins. The truck completed its job, pulled out onto the main road at 4:19 a.m. and drove along the exact route at the exact speed, matching Corrie's cell phone signal perfectly. A grim and horrifying theory took shape. Had Corrie sought shelter from the cold inside one of the large bins, falling asleep, only to be tipped into the back of the mechanical compactor? Police rapidly tracked down and intercepted the exact truck. Forensic teams scoured the vehicle's crushing mechanism, looking for blood, DNA, or any fibers matching Corrie's pink shirt. The results came back entirely negative. Furthermore, modern waste vehicles use sophisticated digital scales to electronically weigh every bin they lift. The police requested these digital logs immediately. The electronic payload record for the horseshoe bin showed a lift weight of just 11 kilograms, or roughly 24 pounds. Corrie was a healthy adult male, weighing nearly 90 kilograms. The data appeared to prove he could not have been inside the bin when it was emptied. Trusting this seemingly definitive evidence, police dismissed the garbage truck theory, unknowingly sending the investigation in the wrong direction. Detectives were back to square one. If the truck hadn't carried Corrie away, and the cameras never captured him leaving, how had he escaped? They tested a new theory, suggesting he had hidden behind the garbage truck as it pulled away. The street was closed, identical vehicles were brought in, and volunteers repeatedly tried to recreate the escape. Every attempt failed. A hand, a foot, or even a shadow always appeared on camera. Months later, an independent audit uncovered a catastrophic computer error. The recorded payload had been corrupted. The true weight of the bin was not 11 kilograms. It was well over 100. The data had been wrong all along. Suddenly, the garbage truck theory was possible again. Realizing their fatal error, police initiated one of the most exhaustive, grueling, and expensive search operations in modern British history. They tracked the truck's ultimate destination, the Milton landfill in Cambridgeshire. For 20 punishing weeks, forensic search teams braved biohazardous conditions, toxic gases, and extreme weather. They excavated, sifted, and manually searched through more than 6,000 tons of rotting commercial garbage. They recovered scattered rubbish matching the date of his disappearance, confirming they were digging in the exact right sector. Despite tearing the landscape apart and bringing investigators to physical exhaustion, not a single trace of the young soldier was found. No clothing, no personal effects, and no human remains. A second, independently funded search extended the agony for another 7 weeks, excavating an entirely new sector of the facility. The result was equally devastating. Facing insurmountable logistical and financial hurdles, the authorities permanently abandoned the landfill operation, leaving Corrie's family with nothing but a void. An official government inquest was eventually held to formalize the tragedy. After evaluating all the circumstantial timelines and digital breadcrumbs, the jury concluded that Corrie most likely climbed into the commercial bin in the horseshoe to sleep. They ruled that his death was an accident caused by fatal crushing injuries inside the waste collection vehicle, before being buried beneath layers of compacted trash. The police formally closed the investigation, asserting there were no suspicious circumstances, but for many following the case, this official conclusion is fundamentally broken. The narrative relies on extreme assumptions. If Corrie was crushed inside the compactor, how did highly trained forensic specialists fail to locate a single drop of blood or biological material on the vehicle's interior machinery? Furthermore, how could an active Royal Air Force gunner trained to survive brutal combat conditions fail to wake up, scream, or fight for his life when the loud hydraulic lifters hoisted the heavy steel bin into the air? The complete absence of physical evidence inside a tightly enclosed, aggressive piece of mechanical equipment continues to baffle independent investigators. Alternative theories offer a far more sinister explanation. Some speculate that Corrie was intercepted in the alleyway by a third party. They theorize that, in a struggle, his phone may have been discarded into the nearby waste bin, perfectly explaining why the digital signal mirrored the truck's exact route, while his physical body was taken somewhere else entirely. In an area completely shielded from public view and city cameras, a violent abduction could theoretically have occurred unnoticed, hiding a horrific crime behind the veil of a tragic accident. A bright young man walked into an illuminated alley with only a single exit. The cameras never blinked, yet he disappeared from the human grid forever. A physical paradox wrapped in technological failure, obscured by thousands of tons of earth. The disappearance of Corrie McKeague leaves behind a grieving mother, an empty barracks room, and a terrifying reality. Even in the modern world, where cameras track our every step, it is still entirely possible to walk into the dark and simply never return.